Hi there. My name is Kim Fernandez, and I'm the prenatal teacher here at the Toronto Doula Group. I thought today we would go over a hospital packing list. So let's see what it is that you need to pack to take to the hospital. First, what you're going to need are the basics: your health card and any other hospital paperwork that you might have. So if you have been in the hospital at any point in time, the one that you're giving birth at, you may have a plastic hospital card. They may not give those out anymore, but at some point you may have gotten one. You'll also need to bring a birth plan or birth list with you if you have prepared one. If you've not, don't worry about it. We're going to talk about birth plans and birth wish lists at another point in time in another video. Any insurance information that you may need, especially if your insurance has changed since you registered with the hospital, you'll need to bring that with you too. Now, for your personal stuff, the personal items that you'll need for the labor itself, we'll talk about postpartum in a minute, but you'll need something to wear in labor. There's no law that says you have to wear the blue gown. There's a suggestion that says that when you wear the blue gown, it kind of puts you into the mindset of being a patient. But this is the one time that you're going to come to the hospital when you're not actually sick. So if you want to wear your own clothing, you absolutely can. Keep in mind that what you wear is going to get a bit schmutzy, all right? There's all manner of stuff coming out of you, especially if your waters are broken and bloody show and all that stuff. So you don't want to be wearing your nice clothing during your labor. Find also that as labor progresses, the more and more naked you become. So things that are easily removed and lightweight will be comfortable as well. You'll also want something on your feet, flip-flops, sticky socks, something that is going to be non-slip, but that means you're not wearing bare feet in the hospital. Disposable underwear. Most hospitals will actually have disposable underwear for you if you want to use just their own. You can, however, if you wanted to bring like the Depends underwear or the incontinence underwear, can be comfortable as well. Lip balm. You definitely want to bring lip balm. Hospitals are notoriously dry. And if you have been, all the breathing that you're doing throughout your labor is going to dry out your lips. So make sure that you bring lip balm. Your cell phone and charger, you definitely want to remember to bring your charger and your cell phone. Try and make sure that there's enough room on it to take pictures with, because assuming that that's going to be your main picture taker for when your baby is born, you want to make sure that there's space for it. Overnight sanitary pads, generally speaking, you don't usually have to bring these to the hospital as well, but you'll definitely need to bring them for the postpartum side. But the hospitals will often supply pads and whatnot. But if not, you'll want to make sure that you bring some with you, because again, bloody show, amniotic fluid and whatnot will all be sort of leaking out of there. Toiletries for both you and your support person, particularly your toothbrush and toothpaste. Sometimes people that are birthing will vomit during labor, and it might make you feel a little bit more human if you can just sort of brush your teeth and make yourself feel a little bit more freshened up. You'll want to bring food for both of you as well. The eating after you get an epidural is not necessarily going to be possible, but you should definitely be eating light snacks and whatnot throughout the labor to keep your energy up, and your partner as well will need to have some food too. Most hospitals now are limiting you to one support person, which means it may not be all that easy for your partner to leave the birthing room to go get food. So make sure that you do bring food for them. Things that are easily packed don't necessarily need to be refrigerated. If you do bring food that needs to be refrigerated, you'll want to make sure that you bring it in a cooler. Many hospitals will have fridges and whatnot available to you, but if that food's good, we don't guarantee that it'll be there when you go get it. You'll also need a change of clothes for both of you as well. For the partner, they may want to change their shirt, freshen up a little bit after baby is born, again, to just feel a little bit more human. And if you have long hair, you'll definitely want to bring hair ties, elastics, anything to hold your hair back. By the end of the labor, it's going to really irritate you. If you're sweating and it getting in your face and whatnot, the mom cut usually starts here in labor. You'll want some comfort items as well. So even if you are planning to have an epidural, you'll want to make sure that you have some things that you can utilize during the labor, particularly for the early side of labor, maybe before you even get to the hospital. But massage oil, lotions, most hospitals are unscented, so you'll want to make sure that you are bringing low scent, scent-free massage oil and lotion. And if you are doing any massage, you want to make sure that you have a friction barrier. So like the oil or the lotion, as a doula, I generally will do massage over clothing so that we don't necessarily rub you raw, which is possible to do when it comes to massage during labor. Tennis balls are probably the easiest and cheapest massagers that you'll ever get and can be very helpful, particularly for doing counter pressure and whatnot into the lower back, can be really comfortable. It's going to put more direct pressure into that area, but it also is going to make sure that you're not putting too much pressure on your wrists. If you are buying new tennis balls for your labor, make sure that you are washing them multiple times beforehand. They can sometimes have a very chemical smell, and your sense of smell will become quite heightened during the labor as well. So that might be a little bit too much for you to manage. Pillows, definitely bring pillows for both of you. Most hospitals will give you one pillow, and that's just for the birthing parent. For the partner, if there's an epidural, if there's time to rest, and particularly when you get into postpartum, you want to make sure that you have a pillow to sleep with. Most hospital linens are white, so make sure that these pillows come in very colorful pillowcases. And again, don't bring your nice pillows. If you want to just buy a couple of pillows to take with you and discard them afterwards, that's not a bad idea either. Heating pad, ice bag, these are very good to use, particularly on your back and whatnot during the labor, but the hospital won't supply these either. So the hospital or the heating pads can be very nice for heat and whatnot, but they're plug-ins, so you'll be a little bit limited. The hot water bottles are possible as well. However, with the hot water bottles, they tend to be very thick, and the water in hospitals don't tend to be very, very hot, which means they might not be as warm as you'd like it. But the ice bags are a great sort of one for both heat and cold. They tend to be a little bit thinner walled, so if you put the hot water in, it will give you some more sort of direct heat initially. And of course, if you are using ice, most hospitals will have ice machines as well that you can put the ice into. I will say the only times you won't use heat or ice is if there is an epidural in play, and we don't want to use heat, especially on a body that has an epidural, because you could be burning yourself and not necessarily being able to feel it. iPods, speakers, creating a playlist. The hospital will absolutely allow you to play music and whatnot, and it's nice to create an atmosphere, have music playing, create that, dim the lights, things like that. And the playlist and the music that you choose, that's up to you. It doesn't have to be spa music with birds chirping if that isn't what you're into. It can be whatever you like it to be. Usually you want to create a couple of different playlists. One that's a little more upbeat, a little more energizing to get you through sort of the early to middle labor. And then towards the end of labor, you might want something a little more calming, a little more sedate, a little more low key, because the other stuff might be very irritating when you get to the end of labor. Personal items for you for postpartum. So for postpartum, you're going to pack basically like you're going to a hotel for a weekend. You're going to have pajamas and comfy clothes to wear while you're there, and of course, loose, comfortable clothing to go home with. You'll also want to bring with you some full coverage underwear. Just embrace the granny panty underwear, embrace full coverage underwear. Thongs and whatnot are going to have to go away for a while because there's a lot happening down there and usually involves some overnight sanitary pads. Some people will often recommend, again, wearing incontinence underwear and things like that, and that's totally fine too. But we want to make sure that at least for the first couple of days that you are wearing a sanitary pad, an overnight pad during that time period, just so we know how much bleeding you're actually having. Nursing bra and pads. If you're buying a nursing bra before you go into the hospital or before you have your baby, please maybe don't buy more than one. The reason is that we don't know how big you're going to get. You could go up one size, you could go up 3 sizes. When your milk comes in, your cup size is going to increase significantly. So in order, because these are generally expensive and oftentimes non-refundable, maybe buy one, but allow yourself time afterwards to go get fitted for a nursing bra once your mature milk has come in. Pads, breast pads, in case you're leaking. Some may be leaking before they even go into labor, and that's okay too. But the pads you will probably need for afterwards as well. They can be disposable. There are also washable ones as well that you can get too, which will obviously be a little bit more environmentally friendly. Again, overnight sanitary pads for afterwards as well, because there's going to be a lot of bleeding and it's going to be quite heavy in the first couple of days. And we want to make sure that you're not bleeding too much. So stick with the overnight pads with maybe either the granny panty underwear or the disposable underwear, at least for the first couple of days until their bleeding starts to slow down a little bit. And of course, earplugs. You'll hear your baby. You don't have to hear everybody else's baby. And you also have to remember you're going to be in a hospital, which means there's going to be announcements, there's going to be pages and things that are happening pretty much 24 hours, even in the middle of the night. So having some earplugs might make you, especially for those first few hours and first 24 hours after you've had a baby, to try and get as much rest as you can while you are in the hospital. For baby, when they're going home, you'll need sleepers and diaper shirts, depending on the temperature of when you're having your baby. But sleepers and diaper shirts, you will want to bring at least 2 or 3. And if you've noticed, when you've sort of been washing and folding and putting away baby clothes, one sleeper or diaper shirt that's 0 to 3 months versus another that's 0 to 3 months could be vastly different sizes depending on the make of them, who's made them. So there's no standard baby size. So having multiple sizes, one that's a little smaller, one that's a little larger, will be helpful. Odds are it's going to be too big for your baby anyways, but having a couple of different sizes will be helpful so you're not scrambling when you get there, especially if it's what you bring is too small. Hats and blankets for sure. Babies will need hats because they do lose a lot of heat through their head. But again, the hats are going to be probably too big for your baby anyways. An infant car seat. Most hospitals require you to have a car seat when you leave the hospital. Some hospitals do not, however, so check with yours to see what your hospital requires. If you are getting into a car, 100% have a car seat. Most hospitals will let you leave it in the car, and then just before you're discharged, the partner can go down and get it and bring it back up. Diapers, small package of diapers, probably 10 to 20 will be necessary, probably way more than you're going to need, but depending on what's happening with baby, we want to sort of plan for a longer stay, even though you probably won't be there that long. But small diapers, small newborn diapers, as I say, 10 to 20. Most small packages have about 20 in them, but 10 will probably get you through. It's probably more than you need. And of course, wipes, barrier cream, anything else that's going to go into a diaper bag, that's what you're going to need to, because the hospital isn't going to give you anything. Most hospitals supply you with nothing. You may get one diaper. That's as soon as baby's born. That's your gift with purchase. But for the most part, they pretty much don't give you anything. And some will actually even ask you after baby is born to have a diaper ready. And that's it. That's our sort of minimalist hospital bag. Make sure that when you're packing for going to the hospital that you're going to add in anything that is going to be unique to you as well. So if you wear contacts, you'll want to bring your glasses and your contact solution. If you're getting an epidural and you want to have something to do and you're bringing an iPad or a computer or something with you, make sure you bring that. Yeah, and remember, you're not going to Europe for 3 months. You're just packing to go to the hospital to have a baby. So you don't need to overpack. And odds are you're probably not going to use a lot of it anyways, and that's okay. But better to be prepared over prepared than under prepared. But try to remember too that your partner is going to be the one that's carrying everything. So try and pack as condensedly and simply as possible. You'll probably be carrying the pillows and your partner is carrying everything else. So be kind to them. They've got a lot. They've got a lot going on as they're bringing you into the hospital and of course as they're bringing you out of the hospital. You'll notice in the list that I haven't added a breast pump. I haven't added a nursing pillow or anything like that, because for the most part, I don't think these are necessary. The beds in hospitals will go up and go down, and you can use just a regular pillow underneath you to hold baby up. If you do need to pump, and there's a medical reason for it, then the hospital will supply the pump for you, so you don't need to bring your own. The only other thing would be if you are formula feeding, you will want to make sure that if you're not feeding baby at the chest and you're just going to go straight to formula, you'll need to bring your own formula. You'll need to bring your own bottles. If you are planning to feed baby at the chest, then yes. If formula becomes necessary, if supplementation becomes necessary, then the hospital will supply it because then it becomes a medical need, right? So I hope that was helpful for you. I hope that was useful. Feel free to stay in contact with me. You can follow me on Instagram at Toronto Doula Group, and you can check out our website at torontodoulagroup.com for classes and other services that we offer, right? I hope you have a good one, and bye.